Well, he's an internationally known singer, best recognized for his well-decorated career in Punjabi Sufi music, an actor, poet. He's on a national Canadian tour. Dr. Satinder Sartaaj joins Canada now. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks to you for giving us the time and on the Canada Talks.
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure having you. How do you like coming to Canada? How do you specifically like coming to Toronto? Because I know you love architecture, you love nature. We're giving you all of that here in the city.
I love your readings about me. Thank you very much for that. But Canada is the country, and particularly Toronto is the city that my career has started in 2009, and it was a huge deal for me because that was the very first time I flew from India, to abroad. And in Canada, particularly here, there's a huge amount of Punjabis, Sikhs, and Indians residing here. Yeah. And I came for 8 concerts in 2009, and I did 18 sold-out concerts.
8 concerts?
I came for 8, but I did 18. Yeah, all the sold-out concerts every week. So that was the start of my career, and now I'm here after almost a decade, and I'm performing here on Roy Thompson Hall. That was, in 2009, there was a huge artist called Jagjit Singh. He released my album, the very first album, in his concert in Roy Thompson Hall, and that's why that concert hall is so close to my heart. And today is a privilege, and I'm feeling so honored, like I'm performing as an artist in the same place.
I'm glad that's not lost on you, because I know you've performed in some amazing places. You sold out Royal Albert Hall in 2014.
Yeah.
So for that not to be lost on you is quite a compliment to the venue and to the city and to the country as well.
It is.
So that's nice. So what's that feel like? And looking at that Royal Albert Hall, that sold out concert there, was that a moment for you where like, all right, I think I'm here now?
I'm here now.
Was that one of those moments for you?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Actually, because before that, some production department and the show organizers, they sent me the video of Adele. The very first time Adele performed in Royal Albert Hall, behind the scenes in the green room, and she was so nervous and, oh my God, I'm going to on the stage. And then I said, okay, this is a huge deal. then I went to the stage, and the entire Royal Albert Hall was screaming and clapping, and that was the most memorable moment for them.
Oh, that's what an unbelievable feeling. If you could just bottle that.
Yeah.
You strike me as one that just loves to perform. Like, you love an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a performer, basically. When you make me sit on the stage, that's the most happiest moment for me. But only then if the sound equipments are perfectly tuned.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, I've seen footage of you perform, and I was watching you for a while, but the angle was such for the camera that I could see the crowd, and I was more watching the crowd.
Okay.
And they were glued on you. Like they were fixated. And do you even notice that, or are you so?
Definitely.
Do you? Yeah.
I perform for people. Like, I talk to them on stage. Even the last concert we did in Vancouver, it was Queen Elizabeth Theatre in downtown Vancouver, and it was sold out. And it was 3.5 hours continuously without any breath break. And
3.5 hours?
Yes, I love to perform more and more. Sometimes in Indian mentality, if you say 7 p.m., they will come at 8 p.m. It's called Indian time.
So for the latecomers, you're giving them their money's worth.
But if the time is 7 p.m., I will start on 7 p.m. so I can warm up by myself. Yeah. I can sing my own songs for my own self. So yeah, I do recognize people, what they say, what they admire, what they don't. So these things makes me a performer, and that's what it is. I think stage performance is only considered as a stage performance when you are considering the audience what they want, what they are expecting, what they are admiring, what they their eyes, what their face is saying, like, okay, it's nice, this song is not nice. I said, okay, it's not nice, oh, let's cut it, let's start the next one, because I am what I am because of my audience. So,
sure.
yeah.
Sure. The feeling you get when you're on stage while you're performing is Is that something that that's first and foremost for you, like recording, doing all the? We'll talk about some of the things that you're doing, but doing all the other things, that's all well and good, but it's the performing that you live for.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. That's the top priority of my
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
That's the performance. Then being a poet, it's, being a creative artist.
Yeah.
That's a blessing, honestly, because when you are writing something. Lately, I was flying from Delhi to London, and I saw Amy Winehouse documentary.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, she was like awesomely blessed, and she grabbed 6 Grammys in one take, and it's only because of her lyrics, because Back to Black and all those songs.
Yeah.
So I assume and I believe that the poetry is the most important and the most natural art. You cannot create it; you can only polish it. So
very nice.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, and in meeting you, it makes more sense to me. Learning more about you, just beforehand, it makes more sense to me. But when you think about it, you grew up on a farm.
Yeah,
and here you are. You're selling out
Canada
concerts. In Canada Talks.
Sirius XM.
It's at Sirius XM, but more so, you're performing to sold out concerts. You're brilliant. And very well educated.
Thank you.
But do you ever look at, from where you came from to where you are right now and go, wow, that took something?
Definitely. My roots are keeping me rooted, obviously grounded, because my background is typical hardcore farming from India, northern India, and especially from Punjab, because Punjab is known for farming. So I am a farmer's boy, and I'm so proud of that. Even when I was walking on the red carpet in Cannes Film Festival, that the international globalization is, considering you as an artist.
Yeah.
And even then I said, oh, I am very proud of my farming background, and I do believe that those things makes you better human.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that you were the first Indian man with a turban to walk the red carpet at Cannes. What does that mean to you?
Oh, extremely overwhelming, and very much burden of responsibilities, and being a representative of my culture, language, and whatever you want to say.
Well, who better?
Yeah.
Who better? Starring in the Cannes premiered film The Black Prince, how much did that Hollywood turn really raise your profile?
Honestly, a huge amount of recognition to the entire civilization residing on this planet Earth. Yeah, because people, when they see me with a brown skin and something in his head, and some, in France and some countries, they do not know, it's called turban. And they said, oh, something on your head, it looks gorgeous. And I said, oh my God, thank you very much. But yeah, it was a huge deal for me. And being, to do a character of the most iconic and a figure of my history, he was the last king of my own land. It's called Maharaja of Punjab, the last Maharaja. He exiled to United Kingdom in his age of 10 and 12. And he was the first royal who was converted into Christianity from Sikhism, and that was the punch on the chest of the Sikhs and Punjabis and Indians, and that was the most iconic, you may say, figure and historical drama for us. But I'm so glad they choose me to portray the Maharaja, because they said your skin tone, your eyes, your height, and everything is very so close to when they choose actors and they need similar faces. And
sure.
Yeah, I went to Bristol Entertainment Partners, the same production house who produced 12 Years a Slave, the Oscar-worthy film with Brad Pitt, sir.
Right.
And and they said, we want you to portray this character. I said, oh my God, really? But I am not an actor, obviously, because I am a poet, composer, singer, performer, but I am not an actor.
Yeah.
They said, that's our job. If you agree, and we will make everything appropriately, manage everything. And then I went to India back, and I went to Mumbai for acting school. Then I learned English, obviously, the Queen's English of 1850s. That accent of Victorian English.
Yeah.
And, it was so tough, but I did my 1000%, I may say, and it went well, and people admired my character. And the very first premiere of The Black Prince happened in the Thetford, Norfolk, Suffolk in England. the actual place of the Maharaja who he used to reside.
Wow.
And the majority of the people were, British, and only 4 or 5 people, me and director and some are brown, and they were just glued. Okay, is this happened truly? Like, because they haven't known. And after that, when I was on the door and shaking hands, thank you very much for your time and admiration and all that, and they said, oh my God, we never got that. Some of women were crying. Oh, we feel very sorry, we did wrong to the Maharaj and all that. It was so overwhelming and so heart melting.
Well, what a great opportunity for you.
It was.
That's great to be able to do that, but to get that kind of an education as well. And speaking of education, I mean, you hold a doctorate in Sufi music. I mean, most singers and performers aren't known for their education. You are.
Yeah.
In part, anyway.
In part, anyway. Yes, I am.
Was that something like, hey, if you're going to do this, if you're going to be in the creative world, you've got to have that education to back it up? Was that important to you?
Honestly, actually, I don't think like you need education to being a creative artist. That's a blessing. Like it could happen to anyone, even a street beggar, even to a shopkeeper.
Absolutely. But I
Yes.
mean, like, was it a choice for you to be like, no, I'm going to educate myself as much as I
No,
can too?
that was my dream, to being a professor of music, to do a doctorate, to put a DR in front of your name, and all that. That was my destination, and I was teaching in the university for like 6 years,
Yeah.
and to the masters. But these things, these creative things, and being a performing artist, has happened just suddenly, and it's like Almighty is just showering so much on you. And then I took this as a career, and I quit for my professorship. Yeah, education did what to me is like to refine your as a human being, to well behave, to how to talk, how to walk, the kind of when you meet established people, when you meet elite, educated, and those kind of class people, then you learned a lot. That kind of things inherited me with my education, I presume.
I mean, you talk about a solid performer, well educated as well, and obviously you've got so many tools in your tool belt with being able to act as well. And getting back to the Black Prince, we haven't even talked about the soundtrack, which featured you with Nelly Furtado, Tisha Campbell-Martin, and more. What about that experience with working with artists that perhaps you hadn't met before, you hadn't worked with before?
I had a great, even when I was out of the studio, I was admiring, the country music poster.
We have a lot of country music posters outside, yes.
The way, at the second tour of Northern America, I was just passing Nashville, and my friend he said, this is the musical capital of Northern America. I said, okay, and he just played Alan Jackson's song, Small Town Southern Man.
Yeah.
And I said, this sounds so amazing, so soothing, even then peppy.
Yeah.
Then that was the first introduction of country music of America to me, and I said, okay, I want to do something like this.
Yeah.
So, my guy from Los Angeles, Sammy, and he was just managing, okay, we are trying some of American artists, let's see what's happening, who is country music, who is pop music, who is jazz, who is rap. So this is how it happens, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that you're like a fan of music.
Yeah, I am.
It's not just specific to any one genre, but you're a fan of music.
No. Music. Even if there's no word, I'm a poet, so the word preference for me it's a huge. But even then, sometimes I flew through Istanbul, Turkey, and if I have stayed for 1 hour or 2 hours, then I go to the shops and buy just only instrumental music of Turkish,
I see.
their own texture of their instruments. I love that. In India, when I travel in my car, majority of the time the Turkish instrumental music played in my car. Yeah.
Wow. So you mentioned poetry. Is that your first love?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Is that what you feel you're best at?
Yeah. If someone is asking like, okay, but you prefer being a creative artist, I would say being a poet, then composer, then singer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Because creativity is the essence. Creativity is the most soulful and you may say the actual cost of the art is the poetry and the composition. Then anyone can perform that.
what I really admire about you as well is not just how many things you can do, and do well. But that you've used your achievements for a lot of good, and part of your achievements include working with the United Nations to help raise funds for their fight against human trafficking.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's remarkable. I mean, how did that all come about for you?
For me, being a turban guy from northern India, being a Sikh, I believe in universal harmony. I believe in respect of every religion residing on this planet Earth. I believe in every color, language, costumes, foods. I love everybody because this is my, you may say, saying on stage. Recently, I visited Thetford. There was a Thetford festival where Maharaja Dalip Singh used to live. There was a estate called Alverton Estate. It's like huge estate, like 22,000 acres.
Wow.
And now Guinness family owning them. That estate, and they said, okay, you're here as a guest of honor. They considered me as a guest of honor. I said, oh, am I that age? And then they said, okay, what is your one-liner to this Thetford festival? I said, let's believe in universal harmony, let's respect every religion, and let's respect everybody, let's love everybody, and they will bounce back that love to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is how I maintain my articulate or being an artist and creative artist.
Wow, we could use more of that. I mean, you got to work with the likes of Quincy Jones, President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It is.
You got to meet with them. Like, how much time did you get to spend with them?
Majority of the time I'm on the flies. Like sometimes I'm touring Australia, then performing in Sydney, and then Auckland, and performing there, and then Los Angeles, because there's only 8 hours drive. Flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, majority of the time I'm on flights, and my creativity these days are happening only in flights. So I manage quite well.
Yeah.
Because I'm very precise and focused person. That's my belief.
Yeah.
That's I can say about me.
But what about getting to spend time with like Quincy Jones and President Jimmy Carter? Like, did you get to?
No,
did you get to spend
actually,
time with them?
no. We are actually connected with the same route and
Yeah.
same cause.
Yeah.
But there was a it's called gala dinner in New York, but I couldn't make it because I had a concert in Delhi, and yeah, that's how it happened. Otherwise, we would have been meet and talk.
Well,
yeah.
that opportunity's got to come up again soon.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have a mini series coming soon? Is that happening?
Yes, The Black Prince, because when we shot the film, it was like 3 hours and 30 minutes. And when we released the film, it was like 117 minutes only.
So you got a lot left over.
Yes, we have lots of things, and my most favorite scenes are, in that 4-part series, and it definitely coming in next month probably, and it will be on Netflix, and let's see.
Okay, and a new album?
New album is happening.
Yeah.
5 songs have released.
Yeah.
And 2 are left. We recently released Odaria. If you can find and play, that's the most, I think, admired song till date.
Yeah.
And it's getting huge amount of love and affection and wishes. And I'm so glad I'm here. And we released this song particularly for my Canada tour, and the people are loving it.
Well, we're happy to have you here for another Canadian tour and a national tour right now, Dr. Satinder Sartaaj. It's a pleasure meeting you. Continued success, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely to talk to you. It
Thank
was
you.
like knowing my own self.
Well, you'd rather know your own self than me, believe me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
preview